Imagine for a moment what's really standing between you and the future you've been told is waiting for you. It's not lack of money. It's not lack of talent. It's not even lack of opportunity. It's something much deeper, much more invisible. And yet it's choking you all the same. The system you've built your life into, the structures you navigate every day, look solid, but they're actually cages dressed up as freedom. You've been handed rulebooks pretending to be keys, promises of progress that feel like traps. And in the middle of all that, the fire inside you, your real fire, gets smothered. Because no matter how brilliant or bold you are, no matter how many zeros are in your bank account, the system says, stay inside the lines, don't shake the boat, don't challenge the picture. And here's the brutal truth. Family capital, the funds you protect, the legacy you steward, often acts as a double-edged sword. It's the safety net you cling to, but also the cage that keeps the radical, the revolutionary, the disruptive at bay. Because by nature, family capital is cautious, conservative, tied to the past and the known. It whispers repeatedly, preserve, protect, don't risk. But what happens when what you really need to do is burn it all down? Tear the rulebook apart and build something new from the ashes, something so raw, so wild, so far outside the comfort zone that the system itself screams in resistance? What happens when family capital meets radical innovation? This is where everything changes. Because radical innovation does not ask permission. It does not come wrapped in neat packages or safe bets. It comes from failure, from breaking things, from chaos and uncertainty. It demands courage that sometimes looks like madness. But your capital, the wealth your family has gathered over years, decades, centuries, is the secret weapon waiting to be unleashed. Not as a shield to protect you from risk, but as a spear thrust into the fabric of old realities. If you are a founder, an investor, a leader who feels the crushing weight of expectations, the need to play it safe, to respect tradition, to not rock the boat, you're trapped in a lie. Because the world you inherited is crumbling beneath your feet. Technology moves faster than your answers. Markets shift before your plans are finished. The next billion-dollar idea is born where no one is watching, far from the ivory towers and boardrooms, where rules don't exist. Your pain is the gap between what you know is possible and what you're allowed to pursue. The frustration of seeing your capital waiting untouched because the only safe investments are yesterday's companies, yesterday's ideas, solid and boring. Watching innovation happen somewhere else, while the risk-averse parts of your legacy clutch tighter, suffocating the chance to leap forward. But here's the fire that no one else tells you about. That gap between family capital and radical innovation is your greatest opportunity. Because the world has no real infrastructure for people who are both stewards and renegades. For those who hold resources but want to fist the future. The system isn't designed to handle rare, rebellious brilliance. It wants conformity wrapped in wealth. It wants status quo wearing a new suit. But you don't have to be that person. You don't have to follow the script handed down because it's comfortable or familiar or expected. What if instead, the capital you protect became a lightning rod? A magnet pulling the truly disruptive, the wild thinkers, the fringe pioneers right into your orbit. What if you could become the crucible where old money doesn't just preserve, but ignites new worlds? This isn't a fantasy. It's happening. But it requires breaking patterns, shedding old beliefs, and looking at capital not as a fortress, but as fuel. Real innovation calls for ruthless selectivity. You can't just throw money at every shiny new startup or trendy tech. You have to cut through the noise and find the sparks, the raw, unpolished ideas burning with real potential. Those will never be comfortable. They will challenge your sense of control and security. But those are the investments that will transform not just your portfolio, but the future itself. There's no room for distractions here. You have to question everything. Every assumption, every norm, every shiny promise of safe growth. Because progress doesn't come from playing by the rules. It emerges from people who dare to create new rules, who reject consensus, who burn the old map and start walking in uncharted lands. And your capital? It can be their jet fuel, the lifeline, the power that turns crazy visions into reality. But to do that, you must first be willing to unlearn what you've been taught about wealth and risk. Radical innovation isn't about minimizing danger. It's about embracing it strategically. It's about patience, enduring the long nights, the losses, the confusion that comes before clarity hits. It's about finding the few others who burn as fiercely as you do, not the many who settle for safety, but the rare individuals who refuse to live a borrowed life. This is where you find true power. Not in diversifying to death or spreading risk so thin that nothing really moves, but in alignment. Fierce, focused, unbreakable alignment with the few who are ready to remake the world. You don't build empires by chasing belonging or following trends. You build them by uniting with those who share your fire, your vision, your refusal to settle. And it's not just about business. It's about reclaiming your life from the invisible slavery of comfort and conformity. That slavery wears a smile. It tells you that you're free while burying your fire beneath convenience. It sells you peace in exchange for your passion. But inside, you know that's a lie. You can feel the tension, the quiet, unbearable itch just beneath your skin telling you to rise, to transcend, to become more than what the world expects, more than the system allows. This is the moment you say no to the predictable path that leads nowhere new. This is the moment you use the power of family capital not as a shield, but as a sword to cut through old reality and carve out a space for freedom. Because freedom isn't easy. It's not comfortable. It's not for everyone. It's for those who dare to burn, to break, to create something that can't be ignored. The truth is, the future doesn't belong to the comfortable. It belongs to those ready to embrace the chaos, the uncertainty, the raw edges of possibility. Those who understand that the greatest treasure isn't money, it's the network. The rare, fiercely loyal, wildly brilliant people who think like you, who believe like you, who fight like you. The power of family capital unleashed is only as strong as the connections you forge with the few who dare to disrupt, to pioneer, to dream bigger than the world says is reasonable. So if you're feeling that tension right now, that burning, that hunger that doesn't fit into board meetings or annual reports, listen closely. That pain is a signal. It's the spark waiting to ignite a revolution in how you think about wealth, risk, and innovation. The old world wants to keep you a prisoner of its illusions. But you are called to be sovereign. To trust your own will as your weapon, to question everything you thought was true, to align fiercely with those who share your hunger for transformation. This is not about hitting the next milestone on a familiar path. It's about rewriting the path itself. It's about unleashing a new kind of power, a power that comes from radical connection, brutal honesty, and relentless patience to see the long game through to the end. Watch closely. After this moment, nothing will feel the same. Because if family capital meets radical innovation in your hands, it accomplishes what money alone never could. It frees the fire within and turns it into a force no system can cage. This is the gift you were born to give. This is the change only you can make real. So get ready. The future doesn't wait. Neither should you.